supported by fire from Company H on the island and a platoon of Company E at the tip of the village finger, they were to engage the enemy with fire, thereby masking the bridge and permitting the planks required to make it usable to be laid in safety. As soon as the planks were down, the rest of Company K would dash across the bridge in single file and would be followed by Company I and Company L in that order. When all three companies were across, they would attack north in concert with Major Schroeder's force on the coast, which would attack from the southeast. The preliminary tasks were completed in short order. Captain Hewitt, who had gone out in one of the assault boats, returned with the results of his reconnaissance. 6 enlisted men volunteered to lay in place the 3 heavy timbers that would span the gap at the northern end of the bridge. Commanding the assault boats, First Lieutenant Clarence Riggs of the 3rd Battalion's Ammunition and Pioneer Platoon quickly moved them into position in some heavy foliage off the southern side of the island. The rest of the 3rd Battalion, guided by Colonel Rogers, began moving forward to the bridge area from the center of the island. Having been told only a little while before that they were to be given a rest, the troops of the battalion were slow in moving forward, and Colonel Rogers was unable to get them into position south of the bridge until the first salvo of the artillery preparation hit the mission. The time was 17:20. As the first artillery salvo went down, the boats pushed off from their hidden positions. The troops had been misdirected by Captain Hewitt, however. Instead of going around the island and landing on the east side of Entrance Creek, they tried to land on the mission finger. The platoon of Company E on the village finger mistook them for the enemy and opened fire on them, as did the Japanese. Lieutenant Riggs's boat, in the lead, swamped and sank. Although Riggs could not swim, he somehow reached shore and managed to stop the firing from the village finger, but it was too late. Most of the boats had already been sunk in the shallows. Fortunately, no one was killed or drowned. Things had also miscarried at the bridge. The 6 men to volunteer, Privates Arthur Mellinson and Earl Middleberger, T5's Charles H. Gray and Bart McDonough of Company A 114th Engineer Battalion, and Privates Elmer R. Hangarten and Edward G. Squires of Company H, had advanced across the bridge, 2 men to a timber. Amid heavy fire from the opposite shore, they dropped the 3 timbers in place, and all except Middleberger, who was killed on the bridge, lived to tell the tale. As soon as the timbers were in place, Company K started crossing. Scarcely had the first 2 men reached the northern end of the bridge when the newly laid planks fell into the stream because of the weakness of the pilings at the other end of the bridge. The 2 men, one of them wounded and neither able to swim, hid under the bank on the other side of the stream, only their heads showing. They were rescued the following night by First Lieutenant William H. Bragg, Jr., commanding officer of the mortar platoon of Company H, and 3 enlisted men of the company, who swam across the creek to save them. The new plan. On the night of 28 to 29 December, ammunition and pioneer troops of the 127th Infantry finished digging a 2.5-foot deep trench across the northwest end of the gardens. The trench, which they had begun the night before, was the idea of Captain W. A. Larson, Major Hootman's successor as Regimental S4. Early on 29 December, it went into use as a route by which supplies were brought forward and the wounded were carried back. It was an immediate success and proved as useful in the transfer of troops as in evacuation and supply. Later the same morning, the original Urbana force,